All right, I am back with your session one lesson, and our session one concept this time around is mean, median, mode, and range. It's not going to be a super long lesson because there's a lot of information on this slide for you. I'm going to share this screen with you again. You do have access to this slide right here. And it really does explain everything, but I still want to go over that with you just so that you have a little bit to look at now. Now, the first thing we're always going to look at to make a line plot is we're always going to look at is the data. So here we have students and number of books read. You can see that the numbers are in no particular order, 5, 1, 2, 5, 8, 0, right? These are not in order. These are just listed students 1 through 10. So we're looking at the data. Then we're going to name and label our graph. So with a line plot, we are going to have books read. Okay, now I need to decide, how do I want this information to be shown on here? So what numbers do I need? So I need to mark my graph, look at the data first. The highest value should be at the right and the lowest at the left. So here's what that means. Look up here. If you're not looking up here, look up here. I need to have my highest number of books read and my lowest number of books read. If I look at my chart, I can see that the highest number of books read is 8. So will I need anything more than 8 on my chart? I will not, because that's the highest number of books read. The lowest number of books read was 0. Poor student 6, he didn't read any books. Okay, now I have 0 and I have 8. And now I need to decide what makes the most sense for how I lay out the rest of my numbers. For this particular set of data, it makes sense to just count by ones. Okay, so now I have basically what just looks like a number line almost here. Okay, you see this? How I have this. Okay, now in order to make this a line plot, I need to mark how many occurrences of each number there are. Okay, so I'm going to look at student 1. He read 5, so I'm going to put 1x over 5. Student 2 read 1. Student 3 read 2. Student 4 read 5. Oh, now I have 2 readers of 5. So that one gets 2 X's. Student 5 read 8. Student 6 read none. Poor student 6. Student 7 read 3. Student 8 read 2. So again, that stacks on top. Student 9 also read 2. And student 10 also read 1. Now, I really want you to look at this for a second, because this actually is really helpful, this line plot, and giving us some really important information. Actually, we can look over here too, because theirs looks just like mine. We can tell what was the most common number, right? We could tell by looking at this very quickly that the most students read 2 books. We can also tell what was the most amount of books read. We can tell what was the least amount of books read. We can tell, well, no one read 4, 6, or 7, right? So looking at this gives us a lot of really good information. So now we have that information, and now it wants us to find mean, median, mode, and range, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna find the mean first. So in order to find the mean, you add up all the numbers. So I'm going to add up student 1 through 10, what their numbers were. So I have 5, 1, 2, 5, 8, 0, 3, 2, 2, 1. Okay, I'm gonna add all those up. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay, 29. That's my total, all of the numbers of books read together. The mean is the average. When you find the average of something, you add them together and then you divide it by the number of things, okay? So now, I'm gonna put my 0 in here because that counts as an occurrence. Now I'm gonna count how many students I had. I can also just look at the chart and see that there were 10. So I would need to do 29 divided by 10. Now, as you can see, you cannot really do that evenly without a calculator or without there being a remainder. So it's okay to use a calculator for this. it still shows me that you knew how to set up the mean. And if you do 29 divided by 10, you would get 2.9. That means that the average student read 2.9 books. Now, obviously 0.9 is not a whole book, so that's close to 3, right? But it kind of makes sense because not very many people read 8 and not very many people read none. Everybody's kind of in the middle. So that's my mean. Add up all the values to get a total, divide the total by the number of values that you added together. Okay, that's mean. Now we're gonna move on to median. Median is in the middle when you arrange the numbers from least to greatest. Now, similar to how I set them up on my line plot, but now I'm not going to include the numbers that don't exist because my line plot before had the numbers on there that had no readers. So right now I'm going to have 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, 8. Okay, now notice when I listed out for the median, I did list when there was multiple numbers. Okay, so that's important. The median is the middle value when they are all listed out. Okay, so in order to find the middle, I'm going to cross out on each end until I get to the middle. Okay, I have 2 numbers in the middle, and since they're the same, super easy, my median is 2. If they were different, I would have to add them together and divide by 2 to find the average of the 2 numbers, just like when you find the mean. So median is pretty easy. It just literally means middle. Mode is the most frequent. And if you've already laid your data out on a line plot, it's super easy to see the mode. It's the one with the most X's. So the mode for this would be 2 because that occurs the most frequently. And now your difference, your range is simply highest minus lowest. 8 minus 0 is 8. So that just means that there's a range of 8 books, which really just means from highest to lowest. That's what the range is. Okay, so now clicking through this, you're going to have some mean, median, and mode questions to answer. So when you go in, and actually it's the slide before that, and I should probably switch that. Okay, yep, you're seeing it live. You're seeing it happen live. Here it says to do a picture of page 303. So this is your first paper page that you're going to be doing. They are giving you some data here. They are asking you to do a line plot here. This is a little bit confusing how they have it. I'm going to switch back to full screen. Hold on one second. Okay. This is a little bit confusing how they have this. This is always confuses people. This is for the title of your graph, right? So like for that last example that I gave, I would write number of books read. And then this is where your line is going to go across here, where you would put your arrow and your number line. Okay, so all that information that I just gave you is enough information for you to do page 303. And that is the bulk of the math that you need for session 1. So for session 1, you should be working on slides 1 through 6. So that is what the task is between now and the next assignment. You do not have to work ahead because you don't have your session 2 video yet. So just focus on slides 1 through 6. All right, have a good one.